So I think it's safe to say that Matthew Vaughn can no longer be trusted.
Do you remember The Long Kiss Goodnight?
I do. That was a great movie.
See how easy it comes back? I'm coming back. You know that, don't you?
That is a very good movie.
Yeah.
Very underrated. This movie was basically a remake of The Long Kiss Goodnight, but as if a gay guy made it.
Yeah.
God, I hate that cat.
It started out as one type of movie, and then it subverts and then turns into Long Kiss Goodnight. But it's subverting a lot. There's like twists and turns every 8 seconds.
Whenever
once
I hear
you
that
get into
word,
the second act.
subvert, I'm just like... Henry Cavill gets top billing, and I was worried Henry Cavill is probably not going to be in this movie that much.
I kind of thought he wasn't going to be based on the concept of the film.
Yes, which annoyed me. I like the guy, and obviously they're really marketing it kind of being that, but if
Henry Cavill vehicle.
if you're savvy whatsoever, you know, like, this movie is not going to be about him.
Although,
and it's not.
The one good thing they did was they hid 90% of what this film was from the trailer.
Credit where credit is due.
Yes.
The trailer did not show the whole movie, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, so actually everything that happened was a surprise.
Yes.
They didn't tell the whole movie in the trailer.
Now, it's a very shitty surprise.
Yeah, but we went in thinking like, okay, Matthew Vaughn, he's had some good films.
He's pretty solid overall.
First Class.
Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass.
Fun movies.
The Kingsman. Decent, fun, and still kind of like tongue-in-cheek, quirky, but they work.
He understands how to make like the ridiculousness fun. This one, nothing landed. The tone was stupid.
Yeah, it just didn't feel cohesive. It didn't feel like you were being immersed in a world he created. Kind of like the Kingsman movies. Like, you feel like you're pulled in and like, this is a cohesive, like, well thought out world. This was just like, you're bouncing back and forth from the book world and the real world, and they feel exactly the same, except one's like a little sillier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this would have been a good opportunity to have distinct visual styles, for example, for the book world and for the real world, but they didn't do any of that. They didn't have fun with their own concept.
Right. Well, speaking of the concept, it's about an author who writes spy novels, and then these real spies come after her because her spy novels are somehow predicting real life events. So now you got two conflicting sides trying to get to her because they need her to tell them like what's going to happen next.
I want all assets on them now. I need her to write the next chapter.
So on its face, like, that concept is kind of interesting, and that's what it starts out as. And like you said earlier, it then just turns into The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Samantha Kane never existed. You wrote the bloody thing.
No, it's not a fantasy. I'm in the goddamn PTA.
Then quit.
And then that concept just goes out the window completely.
What happens next?
It's called a cliffhanger, Mother.
Ellie, it's called a cop-out.
Up until that reveal, this movie was not good, but it was still watchable. It was okay. Like, this isn't really great, but I'm not hating it.
Yeah, you had mentioned last night it was like maybe like a 5 out of 10 up to that point.
Up until that point, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Now we're just stealing from better films.
Yes.
This is not good.
Little help? Hold on.
Our wonderful lead, who's not Henry Cavill, is Bryce Dallas Howard. She is our author, and I do like her.
She's a great actress.
Great actress. She's a cute girl. Mm-hmm. But in this,
something
was amiss.
We kind of noticed something.
She was looming large on screen, and it was a little distracting.
It's fucking distracting having somebody walking up behind Bryce in the middle of the fucking scene.
I don't know why they thought this was the move to cast someone who clearly hasn't shed the baby weight yet.
Yeah, she's kind of in that holding pattern of excess baby weight.
Oh my God. And considering...
Look. I understand that this sounds a little shallow.
A little.
But it's simply just an observation, all right?
Yeah.
We called out Jason Momoa for putting on a couple.
We did observe how much Guinness Jason Momoa has been drinking.
Yes.
And how it led to his physique on screen.
Previously on Hardcut.
He's a little of that like muscular, thick. He's got that like puffy look.
And then he's got the padded soup on top of it, which just
Yeah,
makes him
he just
look like
looks a little bloated.
So this is not from a misogynist place or anything.
No, we're calling it like we see it.
That's all it is. And normally she's very fit, very attractive.
Yeah.
I think of Jurassic World, where she's running from the T-Rex, all sweaty and glistening in her high heels.
Yep. In this, she just has an alarmingly fat ass.
Yeah. She's kind of a great big fat person.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
So it makes the reveal that much more bullshit when you find out that she is actually
a mega spy.
A mega spy.
Yeah.
That's the big long kiss goodnight reveal.
Honk if there's any trouble.
Yeah, so Miss Daisy, I be honking.
Of course, she's got some sort of like weird psychosis, amnesia thing, and once she gets all of her memories back, she's able to resume kicking ass the way she used to. But
yeah,
I'm sorry,
she's been sitting in front of a computer for 5 years.
5 years she's been in this state, and suddenly we're supposed to believe that she can just start kicking all these guys' asses after all that time when she's like as heavy as she is.
Right.
No.
Well, at least like in Long Kiss Goodnight, like you see the buildup where she remembers her knife skills. And,
yeah.
Like, she's like cutting the. She's like, I don't know how to do this. Maybe I was a chef. You know,
Yes.
like, and you see that grow.
But then in that, Gina Davis
She's
looks
still
really
fit.
good in that,
She's still
movie.
fit, yeah.
But they do have a good throwaway line in that where she's like, "Oh my gosh, like how did I let my ass get so big?" or something like that.
Look at my inordinately large ass. Look what she did to me.
She calls attention to it.
Yes.
In this, it's like
They just ignore it.
They just ignore it completely because
Right.
it's like, well, why couldn't she still be like as
Right.
nimble as and spry as she is?
So, yes, there was definitely some of that fucking bullshit body positivity
She'd be
crap
out of breath
in it.
walking up a flight of stairs,
Exactly, yeah.
doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
I am such a fan.
Oh yeah? What is it you do?
I still thought she was cute in this, but she's pushing it.
Little
It's
dumpy.
just a little dumpy.
Little dumpy.
It's fine. It just felt like Mary Sue at any size. It just doesn't matter. But before they turned her into the Mary Sue, I did like the dynamic between her and Sam Rockwell.
Sam
'Cause
Rockwell's always great.
Sam Rockwell is fantastic,
Yeah.
and he's the only one who lands any kind of comedic timing in this film.
Here we go.
I love this book.
His character, he gets tasked with protecting her from another group of spies that are trying to like either kill her or use her for some nefarious means. They don't really like tell you right off the bat, and she's kind of like doesn't know which side to go with, but Sam Rockwell is there protecting her. And of course, he's this badass spy. Which makes sense, because that's his character. And he has to protect her. And she helps out from time to time with literary things, where he's like, oh, well, you're writing this story, so you need to tell me like what's gonna happen next. And she sits down and like thinks it through like the way a writer would.
Yeah.
And that helps her come up with the clue to where they need to go next. And I kind of like that dynamic. It gives her her skill set, and it shows how she's useful in that dynamic. But then, once she gets her fucking memory back,
Or once that plot element comes in,
yes,
that's
now
gone.
he looks like a joke next to her.
Yeah.
And then he just starts simping all over her.
He ends up being a massive fucking simp.
Oh my God.
Beta.
And it's painful to see. And it's
Yeah,
like,
because
it's
he
almost,
was so good up to that point.
Yeah, exactly. You said that he's the only one that kind of lands the comedic aspects of the film.
Yeah.
I feel like Henry Cavill, they did him dirty, for sure. And
Right,
he
well,
doesn't
yeah.
really do that much in the movie, but you can tell he's having a good time.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you only ever see him in the book world.
Yes.
So when the movie opened and you get this whole like inside the book scene where he's
Yeah.
being the super spy and everything, that opening scene is like, okay, this is good. This is setting this like kind of campy tone, and it's kind of working. But then when we shift into the real world, that campy tone never really goes away.
No,
And then it just feels out of place.
The
and it's
whole-
like you
yeah.
didn't differentiate your two worlds.
This isn't a case of, oh, we just need our spy movies to be serious all the time. No, like I
Right.
can watch a goofy spy movie. That's
course.
fine. This just sucked.
Yeah.
Just wasn't good. It felt like someone was imitating a Matthew Vaughn movie
Yeah.
rather than Matthew Vaughn doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's just getting there to that age where he's kind of on autopilot now.
This did feel like an autopilot movie.
Like his heart wasn't in it.
Like it didn't have like the heart and the fun of like the Kingsman.
He's got a very distinct style, and part of his style is making things ultra violent funny.
Yes, that was another thing. This fucking movie was rated PG-13.
Yes, I didn't even realize that because I just assumed it was going to be rated R because most
Right,
of his,
like
with
most
the
of his
exception of
stuff is,
X-Men,
except X-Men,
it's
yeah.
rated R, and like he really lays into hard R. And like,
Kick-Ass is violent. Kingsman, super violent.
Yes, and that's part of the fun of those
And
movies.
that adds another element to the camp.
Yeah, exactly. Just how over the top it is.
Yes, now you see everybody getting shot and there's just like no blood, and it's like, Okay, so I can't even have that?
Exactly.
Were you trying to reach a wider audience?
The cinematography wasn't there. The lighting sucked. None of it was landing.
And it was the same cinematographer, his name escapes me, who did Kingsman. And those movies are decent looking.
No, Matthew Vaughn is usually really good in the visual department.
Yeah.
It almost had that like boring, bland Marvel look.
And the movie goes on far too long.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was
It
exhausted
seemed
by the
like
end.
when they get to the climax of, okay, how's this going to play out? They have this fucking ridiculous action scene with smoke.
They have pink and purple smoke, and that's a fight scene between...
While they're dancing.
All the martial arts are done in dance number. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah, and then they finally get through that scene, and you're like, oh, okay, now we can end this movie. And it's like, nope, we got another doozy for you. We're gonna have her strap some knives onto her boots, and she's gonna skate around an oil slick.
Suddenly her character knows how to ice skate.
Not even ice skate. She's like Olympic level.
Of course she is. But
and she's doing it with an extra 50 pounds on her ass.
And there's no ice. It's the entire floor
oil.
is slick with oil.
Yeah.
And so she's skating on oil. It's fucking stupid.
For a moment, like when she first put the knives on her feet,
oh my God.
I had a flash to Transporter when Jason Statham like puts the bike pedals on his feet so he can walk on the oil and fight everybody. We were just sitting there like, is this fucking over? Like, this is absurd. This has gone way too far. Forget the shark. You've jumped the whale at this point. Like, this is ridiculous.
All right, so I think I'm just going to give this one a 4 out of 10.
That's what I was going to go with, actually, a 4 out of 10. Because when it started off, that first like half an hour, I was like, oh, this is like a weak 5. And then it just started getting shittier. Maybe a 4 is too good. Maybe a 3.5. Yeah, fuck it, 3.5.
3.5, yeah, fuck this movie.
Now, on the other scale,
there were some things.
Yeah. In the beginning, we're introduced to another member of the team who we think gets killed, but she comes back. She comes back. The next Steve Jobs.
Yeah, so there's
Kara.
The young, ultra smart, black, no nonsense girl on the team. There's a line in the movie where she's like, oh my gosh, she could be the next Steve Jobs. Of course, she's a fucking genius.
But she gave it up so she could like drive Jeeps around and pick you up from spy missions.
Oh my God, fuck Hollywood writers.
They don't even try.
No.
They don't even try
to
hide the shit. They just come out and just say lines. They just put these dumb lines in characters' mouths and they just put it right out there like, no, we're just going to have them say it. It's way easier than hiding it in subtext. Because every time you see a character like that in a movie now, they went to Harvard.
Yeah.
They're the next Steve Jobs. Is anyone normal anymore?
Yeah, she can't just be a normal chick or someone who was just in the military and...
Who's just a spy now and she's like, she's good at her job.
Yeah.
She's not like... the best there ever was in the world.
No.
Like, you don't have to go to 100 every time.
That'd be like if they made Vasquez in Aliens, like a neuroscientist.
Right.
Fuck you, man.
Like, it's like, okay, so she's a kick-ass spy, and she just happens to be super smart when it comes to, like, computer technology, like they do with Bryce Dallas Howard. We already touched on this, but she's like the ultimate Mary Sue.
The Rey Skywalker of the spy genre.
She is.
Yeah.
Except at least Rey was fit.
She put on a couple pounds, though, in Last Jedi.
1 or 2, it's hard to tell.
Oh my God, we're going to hell for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from all of that, they're not really cramming it down your throat.
Not too much.
Right.
If you look past all the Mary Sue bullshit. The body positivity Mary
Sue automatically brings you up to 2.5 points on the rainbow scale. That's just an automatic.
Yeah.
So it at least starts there. That's ground zero.
Yeah. All right, so where do you land then on the rainbow scale?
I'm going to give a rainbow score of 3.5.
Okay, I was going to go with 3.
That works too.
Yeah, it's acceptable. I didn't think this was going to be good, but like, it really disappointed.
I knew I was going to hate it. The trailers just did nothing for me. I knew that Henry Cavill was going to take a back seat.
Yeah.
But nothing prepared me for just how bad this movie was. Like, it was way worse than I thought it was going to be.
I thought it would at least be like a fun, tongue-in-cheek, like halfway decent time with Cavill, and like I love Sam Rockwell, and I knew he was going to be in the whole movie, so I was like, how bad could it be? And he's got a good track record as a director.
Yeah.
And this is where we draw the line.